Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Again, this is my first trade I've taken all week. Well, I ended up taking a break even on Tuesday on gold, so you can count that if you want. But yeah, coming into the day here, I ended up taking two trades, one loss, one break even. Honestly, I feel like the loss that I took was just so unfortunate because everything was there, but the inversion was just so bad, and I didn't notice up until after I entered. Like I entered, and I was like, "Damn, like the inversion's not that good. Should I cut it?" But it inversed, so I was like, "You know what? I'm already in this trade. Let's see what happens. Whatever." So coming into the morning here, if we look at buys here, I ended up saying I was like, coming into it with a bearish bias, as we can see, we form a clear 4-hour CRT with yesterday's 2 p.m. high. Now we're looking to target 2 p.m. low. I don't want to look out for longs because I believe we're more bearish overall. I believe that ES wants to go to new week opening gap and fill it, so we shall see if that happens. I'm expecting 930 to open higher and tap into equilibrium of the range to then catch continuation shorts. So you can see we had this daily CRT this high. I believe we would come down to this low. And then more short term here, really low hanging fruit right there. I want to see a delivery higher to then deliver lower. And of course, the market did not give us what we wanted. We ended up flushing through everything. So I was like, okay, like 930 open lower. So essentially at this point in time, 930 immediately open lower. And I was like, I don't mind seeking longs here, but I want to see a manipulation like out of this daily. So I want to see more of like a sweep and then maybe like a rebalance, sweep again, inverse, and then I'll look to target some longs. Um, that's what I was more leaning towards. But again, price ended up just ripping higher and mitigating 930. I was okay, like we could continue, we can revert back higher here, but I'm more bearish in this sense because of the higher time frame. But this is where I say like we close back in the range of the 4 hours. So this to me kind of confused me because I was like, damn, we're closing back in the range on the 4 hour. Let's see how the next 10 a.m. open candles. 10 a.m. opened higher, but then again we failed to displace lower. So this to me made me feel like we're bullish. So I was okay, like what would confirm my bullish bias? Again, we're tapping out of this daily. We swept this low, closed back in the range. 930 is opening lower. What is ES doing? ES swept the low again. We came to the weekly opening price. Again, super clear. And then what did the ES do? Close above these 5-minute highs. So to me, I was like, all right, this looks bullish to me now. I don't want to be shorting. I know we're in this hourly, but I want to see if I can play just an internal to external, low hanging fruit, and that's it. So at this point in time, I also wanted to get off. I was like, I don't really have a target. Let's just kind of wait and see what happens. So again, I want to see this 5-minute. And I want, again, there was price was wicking here, but it wasn't good enough. I wanted to see 930 get mitigated on ES. So 930 got mitigated on ES right here. So around this area here, we mitigated it, tapped the breaker, and I was looking for this 1-minute IFEG right here. Because not everything is aligning. Okay. So again, I know I see 10 a.m. open higher. I see that we're coming into it. Like we're going lower from here, but I want to see how, again, if I'm going to be bearish, I need this entire range to invalidate. If I'm going to be bullish, again, I need to see this range hold and then revert higher. So again, it came to this 5-minute BISI. So let me put here. It came to this 5-minute BISI. We tap in here in equilibrium of the entire range. So at this point in time, I'm like, okay, like I could see price going. Again, I didn't want to long here yet because at this point in time, it was around here. ES didn't make gain 930. So around this area, I was like, you know, I won't long. My condition needs to be met. 930 got met, and then we reverted higher. I want to seek longs. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Again, I wanted this to be my break even and then go higher because again, we have everything here. We would have a manipulation like. Unfortunate, again, at the moment I saw that we did an inverse and I was like, we did an inverse displacing. Again, in live markets, like it was displacing, like in live charts, like this next candle looks so bullish here. Boom. Like before it closed, it looked super bullish. And then as soon as I was looking over my screen, I pressed enter and it closed barely over the inversion. I was like, damn, should I cut this trade? I don't know. By the time I was already in, like the next candle printed so bearish right away, and I was like, all right, like you know what, like I'm gonna just hold this trade. Whatever happens, happens. Ended up getting stopped out, and I was like, all right, bet, whatever. So then, what the price end up doing here? We end up inversing this 2-minute. We had equal highs. coming back in the range. Again, I didn't want to really take this trade because at this point, 10:39 has been consolidating for quite some time. So I was like, damn, like, well, at 10 a.m. has been consolidating. So I'm like, damn, I'm taking this right at 10:30. But we have equal highs. I took it, but as you know, delivery was terrible. And my break, again, I entered long right around here. Stop was right here at the order block. And then I was looking break even right here. And then first TP was going to be here, and the next TP was going to be here. To medium high. This is how I was looking to trade this. Again, break even, stopped at break even, and that's it. And then after this, there was this 5-minute inverse. But again, the reason I didn't take this, again, I was still bullish throughout this because as long as this 5-minute holds, I'm going to be bullish. But the reason I didn't take this because 11 a.m. opened higher. And again, we had SMT at the lows here, right below 930. Once again on ES, I believe we're bullish, but I want to set a limit order to see what happens. And when I set the limit order, it never got filled. Price started consolidating, and then it started to be around 11:30. So once I saw this consolidation, I was like, you know what? I don't want to be part of this anymore. So I'm not going to take this trade. So I removed my limits, and this is where we are now. Again, I feel like today was a little bit rough for me. I don't know if mentally I was like, I had brain fog today, but I felt like for some reason I was doubting my analysis. Every like few seconds, I was like, yo, am I looking at this wrong? Am I looking at this wrong? And I just felt like, yo, what's going on today? Why do I feel like this? You know? And I felt like for some reason I was just like in this mental battle of trying to fight bias. It did, and I caught myself like, yo, like this doesn't feel that clear for some reason, you know? It doesn't feel like screaming at me, and um it felt today like a little forced because, but at the same time it didn't feel forced. It's weird. It's weird because ES looks super bullish here, closing above these highs, but then ES also looks so close to the new week opening gap. So it's like, yo, I low key just want to sit out of this. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes me feel like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit out of everything. That's how it made me feel. Um, but again, when I saw ES close above, I was like, you know what? This high probability internal to external. And again, I saw these equal highs on ES here, all this low resistance. But yeah, I just, yeah. I guess like the best thing I could say is like I've seen this happen on ES where ES forms the breaker and NQ doesn't, but the objective of the day hasn't been taken. The objective here was this low and then these lows down here. That's what I feel like the objective was. So it's very lower probability for this to work. So I don't consider this a loss. I consider this something as a learning experience. You can take long continuation longs as depending on ES, if the ES creates a breaker and NQ doesn't, as long as the objective of the day doesn't get taken. You can see that because then NQ will still push to the objective essentially if the objective is still intact. Again, overall though, I'm not upset at my performance. I just feel like mentally very drained. I still want to see some shorts to these lows, but look at all this low resistance. And something I just gotta remind myself is like quality over quantity. And it's just like I haven't been trading much. You know, I'm okay with the loss I took. It's a little frustrating because like the close wasn't there, bro. And you know, it's like the market just kind of got me. You know, and I was telling myself, I'm like, the trap. And then I was like, you know what? I'm entering. Like I'm in. I don't know. It caught me. So it's one of those things where you can't really fight it. You gotta just kind of go with the flow and say, you know what? Even though I took this loss, yes, it bothers me. Yes, it sucks. But again, at the end of the day, it's just one loss. It's not that big of a deal. Some days it's gonna bother you more than others, and some days it's not. But you gotta learn how to live with it and understand that it's not personal, and it's okay. So again, now we got this 5-minute invalidation. We're most likely gonna go higher here, mitigate this, inverse, and look lower. Again, the only thing about this is delivery has been super slow. Again, look at this chop. Doesn't look good. So this is where we refer back to quality of the trade over quantity. And this is where I say like, yeah, you just gotta remain patient. Look for something that looks clear, and it is what it is. Again, so far this week I'm only down $300 per account, or 360 probably 370 per account because it was a break-even trade on Tuesday. I lost $60 on it, but whatever. So on the week I'm down 370, I believe. Yeah, 370 on the week. Again, I've been cooking this month. First week of October I made 700. Second week I lost 600. Third week 530, and then last week I made 700. So again, we're up almost basically 1K or 900 on the week. So again, not bad. We're up on the week. I mean, we're up in the month. Sorry. Um, but yeah, it's been slow, man. It's been slow. I've been waiting for my levels. My levels haven't been getting hit, and then for shorts, context is not there. Like for here, I don't want to be shorting. Again, in a way, you can short because, but at the same time, you can't because you're battling a fuck against a daily. So it's like even though we gotta close below on the 15-minute here for continuation short, you can't because you're battling a daily here. Like you have a daily here, and then on the higher time frame, you're closing back in the range. So 10 a.m. is opening higher. So in order for me to be bearish, you gotta invalidate the entire range. But now if you invalidate the entire range, it's low resistance. It's not a clean invalidation. So it's like, can it deliver? Yes, but it also cannot deliver. You know, so it's like you gotta put these things hand in hand. They go hand in hand, you know? So yeah. That's pretty much all I can really say. I'm trying to like really talk as much as possible in this trade recap to really like not just make you realize, but also talk some sense into me and make me realize that you know what, like we didn't perform bad today. We followed our rules. We did exactly what we're supposed to do. It is what it is. So yeah. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this trade recap. Yeah, I'm off for the day. I really don't know what else to say. Yeah, that's it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.